Have you ever wondered why so few people actually change? Why so many talk about success, improvement, and discipline, but year after year they stay exactly the same? It's not because they lack intelligence. It's not because they're lazy, either. It's because they never learn to master one thing, themselves. Most people are ruled by their emotions, ruled by distraction, ruled by whatever the world throws at them on a given day. They wake up and instantly surrender control. They check their phones before they've even left the bed. They react to texts, trends, arguments, news, noise. They let the external world define how they feel inside. This is the trap 99% of people fall into. A life lived in reaction, not reflection. But there's another path. One that's simple, timeless, and powerful. It's not flashy, but it's incredibly effective. And those who walk it separate themselves in a way that no degree, no follower count, and no trend ever could. It's called Stoicism, a philosophy over 2,000 years old, practiced by emperors, warriors, scholars, leaders, and now, you. The Stoic doesn't waste energy on what they can't control. The Stoic doesn't get caught in emotional storms. The Stoic doesn't complain, doesn't chase pleasure, and doesn't fear discomfort. Instead, the Stoic sharpens their mind daily. They treat every challenge as a chance to grow. They become stronger where others stay soft, wiser where others remain ignorant, and freer where others stay trapped. Think about it. How rare is it to meet someone who is calm under pressure, who doesn't flinch in adversity, who doesn't need to prove anything to anyone? That person is rare. But that person is possible. You can become that. But it requires one thing: daily effort. Stoicism is not something you read once and understand forever. It's not just a few quotes on Instagram. It's a discipline, a practice, a way of life. Every day is training. Every situation is a test. When someone insults you, do you react, or do you respond with reason? When things don't go your way, do you panic, or do you adapt? When you feel tired, anxious, frustrated, do you give in, or do you pause, breathe, and act with clarity? These moments, small as they seem, define the person you become. Because Stoicism isn't about having control. It's about gaining it. One moment at a time. Most people are waiting for motivation to change. They wait for the right mood, the right energy, the right opportunity. But the Stoic knows, if you only act when you feel like it, you'll never go far. So the Stoic acts, whether they feel like it or not. They get up early. Not because it's trendy, but because it's quiet. Because the early morning offers stillness. A time to think. A time to reflect. A time to set intention before the noise begins. They don't drown in distractions. They don't need endless entertainment. They don't scroll for validation. They protect their attention like it's sacred, because it is. They journal. They ask themselves hard questions. What did I do well today? Where did I fail? What emotion controlled me today, and why? They don't run from discomfort. They invite it. They take cold showers, fast from food, speak last in conversations, listen more. Because growth begins where comfort ends. They read, not just to consume information, but to refine their judgment. They study people who lived centuries ago, because they understand human nature hasn't changed, only the tools around us. And in doing so, they build something powerful. A mindset so sharp that it can't be dulled by circumstance. A presence so calm that it unsettles the noisy. A discipline so strong that no excuse can penetrate it. And you might think this is extreme, that this level of control is robotic. But it's not. Stoics aren't cold. They're alive. Fully alive. Because they're not being dragged by their impulses. They're choosing their path. Every single day, they ask themselves, what is in my control right now? That one question is liberating. Because suddenly, you stop wasting energy. You stop blaming others. You stop wishing things were different. And you start doing what matters. Most people want to control the world. The Stoic wants to control themselves. And ironically, that makes them more powerful in the world. It's not that the Stoic doesn't feel anger, fear, sadness. It's that they don't let those emotions own them. They acknowledge them, feel them, then move forward with reason. They don't panic in crisis. They don't explode when triggered. They observe. They breathe. They choose. Imagine the advantage that gives you in life. In relationships. In business. In health. In every moment where others collapse under stress, you rise. Because you've trained for this. That's the beauty of daily Stoic practice. It's not just about feeling good. It's about being prepared. About being grounded when others are drifting. And the best part? It's not complicated. You don't need 10-hour routines. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need intention, repetition, discipline. Wake up and ask, who do I want to be today? Write down your thoughts. Not for likes. Not for anyone else. But to understand your own mind. Spend 5 minutes visualizing obstacles. Not to worry, but to prepare. Do something difficult, something you'd rather avoid. Pause before you speak. Listen more than you talk. Reflect before you sleep. What did I learn today? Where did I fall short? How can I improve tomorrow? This isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. And the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. You begin to feel different. You walk into situations with a quiet confidence. You stop getting pulled into drama. You stop chasing what doesn't matter. You begin to see clearly what's real and what's noise. What's yours to carry, and what's not. And while everyone else is lost in distraction, chasing pleasure, avoiding discomfort, you're building something. You're compounding wisdom. You're mastering yourself. You're becoming uncommon. That's how you surpass 99% of people. Not with hacks. Not with shortcuts. But with daily discipline. With clarity. With timeless principles. Stoicism won't make life easier. But it will make you stronger. It won't remove the storms. But it will teach you how to stand still within them. So if you're tired of living on autopilot, if you're done being controlled by moods, screens, and noise, then start today. Think stoically. Grow daily. Because the future belongs to the few who train when no one's watching. Who reflect when no one else is thinking. Who move with calm while the world spins in chaos. Be that person. Start now. Start small. But start with full intention. And over time, you'll look back and realize, you didn't just change your life, you became unshakable. Not because the world got easier, but because your mind got stronger. And that is the true Stoic edge. The Stoic edge isn't something you show off. It's not something loud. It's not flexed like a muscle or worn like a trophy. It's invisible, but undeniable. People will notice you're different, though they can't explain why. They'll feel the calm when you speak, the certainty in your actions, the peace in your presence. While they chase validation, you'll embody quiet confidence. While they follow crowds, you'll follow principles. And while they waste years waiting for the right time, you'll have already built something that time can't touch. Character. The Stoic doesn't chase applause. He chases mastery. Not over the world but over himself. He understands that freedom isn't doing whatever you want. The Stoic edge isn't something you show off. It's not something loud. It's not flexed like a muscle or worn like a trophy. It's invisible, but undeniable. People will notice you're different, though they can't explain why. They'll feel the calm when you speak, the certainty in your actions, the peace in your presence. While they chase validation, you'll embody quiet confidence. While they follow crowds, you'll follow principles. And while they waste years waiting for the right time, you'll have already built something that time can't touch. Character. The Stoic doesn't chase applause. He chases mastery. Not over the world but over himself. He understands that freedom isn't doing whatever you want. It's having the strength to not do what harms you. To not speak when silence is wiser. To not act on impulse, but on intention. And that kind of strength only comes from consistent practice. From doing the simple things daily. From letting go of what you can't control and focusing entirely on what you can. Your thoughts, your attitude, your choices, your effort. And now that you've come this far, you might be wondering, what's next? The answer isn't complicated. You don't need a radical change. You just need to return to the basics every single day. Because in the modern world, the Stoic mind is a rebellion. Rebellion against endless consumption. Against the addiction to ease. Against the constant external noise. We live in a time where comfort is everywhere, and yet peace is rare. Where connection is instant, but depth is missing. Where information is unlimited, but wisdom is scarce. So if you choose to be a modern Stoic, understand what you're doing. You're rejecting the ordinary. You're stepping off the treadmill of trends. You're building a mindset that isn't dependent on likes, updates, or the next big thing. You're choosing to live by timeless values, not temporary opinions. And while others change with the wind, you become the mountain that stays grounded. You'll still feel pain. You'll still lose, fail, struggle. But you'll meet those moments with grace. Not because they don't hurt, but because you've trained your mind to rise above them. Every failure becomes fuel. Every setback becomes sharpening. Every obstacle becomes the path. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is not just philosophy. This is practice. This is power. Real success, the kind that lasts, is not found in external wins. It's found in the person you become in the process. It's not what you earn, but how you earn it. Not how far you go, but how aligned you stay. Not how much you own, but how little owns you. The Stoic knows this. And that's why he moves differently. While the world asks, what can I get? The Stoic asks, who can I become? While others fear discomfort, the Stoic sees it as a forge for strength, clarity, and character. And while most people live at the mercy of impulse, the Stoic builds the rarest kind of freedom. The freedom to choose. To choose virtue over vanity. Discipline over ease. Growth over stagnation. And this freedom compounds. Over weeks. Over months. Over years. Until one day, you realize. You're no longer who you used to be. You're calmer. Sharper. Stronger. Not perfect, but purposeful. Not invincible, but unmoved by what used to shake you. This is the real win. And no one can give it to you, or take it away. You earn it in silence. With the choices you make when no one's watching. So as you close this video, ask yourself, what am I feeding my mind every day? What am I tolerating that weakens me? Where am I letting emotions rule instead of reason? And most importantly, am I willing to train today, even just 1%, to become who I say I want to be? Because the truth is, no one's coming to save you. No one's going to hand you discipline. No one's going to wake you up early, silence your distractions, or guide your actions. That's your job. That's your gift. That's your responsibility. And if you choose to embrace it, if you choose to walk this quiet, ancient path, then the rewards will speak for themselves. Not in what you say, not in what you show, but in who you are. When the world around you is loud, chaotic, and reactive, you'll be still. And that stillness, that presence, that unshakable calm, that is what sets you apart from the 99%. That is the mark of a Stoic. And that is who you are becoming. One day, one thought, one action at a time. So don't stop now. Close the video. Breathe. Reflect. And get back to work. Because the journey never ends. And that's what makes it beautiful. Think stoically. Grow daily. And let the rest stay distracted. You're on a different path now. And you're never going back. In the modern world, being Stoic isn't just uncommon, it's radical. Because everything around you is designed to break your focus, to overwhelm your senses, to keep you chasing dopamine instead of direction. Ads scream for your attention. Apps feed you endless noise. News cycles flood you with fear, outrage, and urgency, all to distract you from what actually matters. Your own life, your own mind, your own growth. And while most people scroll endlessly, consume passively, and react impulsively, the Stoic steps back. He doesn't escape the world. He simply refuses to be ruled by it. He chooses to observe, not absorb. To reflect, not react. To build a life guided by timeless principles, not temporary emotion. Think about that for a second. When was the last time you went an entire day without reacting? No judgment. No impulse. No distraction. Just clarity. Just awareness. Just control. This is what the Stoic trains for. Not for applause. Not for titles. But for mastery over himself. Because at the end of the day, what else can you really control? You can't stop the economy from collapsing. You can't stop people from being rude, unfair, or wrong. You can't even control what thoughts pop into your head sometimes. But what you can control is what you do with them. Whether you respond or simply observe. Whether you act with purpose or get swept away by feeling. That's the training. Every day. Every moment. Because if you don't train your mind, someone else will. The world will program you. With fear. With guilt. With craving. It'll tell you who to be, what to want, how to live, and most people follow without question. But not the Stoic. The Stoic studies his own patterns. He pays attention to the triggers that once controlled him. He separates emotion from judgment. He pauses before speaking, questions before reacting, and thinks before acting. It's not about being cold. It's about being in command. Because he knows that in a chaotic world, his calm is an advantage. In a distracted world, his focus is a weapon. In a reactive world, his reason is a superpower. This is why the Stoic becomes rare. Because what he builds can't be bought. What he carries can't be copied. And what he sees, most people miss entirely. He sees the games, the illusions, the traps, and he walks a different path. Not out of arrogance, but out of alignment. He's not better than others. He's just decided to live by a different standard. A standard of self-discipline. A standard of inner stillness. A standard that doesn't change just because the world does. And this is where true personal growth begins. Not with a course. Not with motivation. But with a decision. A decision to take radical responsibility for your life without excuses. To stop blaming circumstances. To stop waiting for perfect timing. To stop outsourcing your power to anyone or anything outside of you. The Stoic doesn't need perfect conditions. He doesn't need the stars to align. He works with what is, and makes it enough. That's how you build strength. By facing discomfort instead of avoiding it. By choosing challenge over comfort. By practicing self-control in a world that celebrates self-indulgence. And the beauty is, you don't need to be extreme. You don't need to move to the mountains or meditate for hours a day. You just need to be consistent. 5 minutes of silence in the morning. 1 pause before reacting. 1 journal entry of honest reflection. 1 decision that honors your higher self. That's the work. Not complicated, but uncommon. Because most people won't do it. Not because they can't, but because it's easier not to. It's easier to stay distracted. It's easier to follow emotion. It's easier to blame than to build. But easy doesn't build strength. Easy doesn't build clarity. Easy doesn't lead to freedom. And that's the ultimate reward of the Stoic path. Freedom. Not freedom from difficulty, but freedom from domination. Freedom from being ruled by your own impulses. Freedom from living a life that belongs to everyone but you. That's the shift. That's the transformation. And it doesn't happen all at once. It happens one choice at a time. So if you're serious about growth, If you're done with excuses, if you're tired of waiting for life to change, then let this be the moment you change your mindset. Because once you do, the world changes with you. But remember, the world isn't going to slow down for you. It will keep throwing noise at you, keep selling you distractions, keep pushing you to compare, to react, to consume. That's why the Stoic doesn't wait for the world to change. He changes his relationship with it. You don't escape chaos by hiding from it. You escape chaos by mastering your response to it. That's what separates you from the 99%. They're caught in the current. You become the anchor. Because most people are slaves to impulse. They scroll, they spend, they speak without thinking. They chase pleasure but run from purpose. But pleasure fades. Purpose deepens. The Stoic doesn't chase short-term pleasure. He chooses long-term peace. He asks, does this serve my growth? Does this align with my values? Does this take me closer to who I'm trying to become? That kind of awareness? It's rare. It's powerful. And it's built in solitude, not in noise. You'll have to get comfortable being alone. You'll have to resist the pull to be constantly entertained. You'll have to be still while the world rushes around you. But in that stillness, you'll find yourself. Not the version shaped by culture, or followers, or filters. But the real you. The version that's been buried beneath distractions and opinions. That's where your power lives. That's where clarity comes from. Not from adding more, but removing what isn't you. And the deeper you go, the stronger you get. Because the Stoic isn't afraid of facing himself. He knows that all growth begins with truth. And truth doesn't shout, it whispers. You won't hear it unless you're still. Unless you're honest. Unless you're willing to admit that some of your biggest obstacles were built by you. But that's not weakness. That's strength. Because once you take ownership, you take power. And from that power, you begin to build. Not just habits. Not just routines. But a way of being. The Stoic doesn't just read philosophy. He embodies it. He applies it when it's hard. When he's tired. When life doesn't go his way. That's the test. When someone insults you, can you stay calm? When plans fall apart, can you stay composed? When fear creeps in, can you respond with courage instead of panic? Anyone can be stoic when life is easy. But real stoicism shows up when things get uncomfortable. And that's when you'll start to see the shift. The things that used to break you, don't. The people that used to control you, can't. The doubts that used to paralyze you, fade. Because now you have something they don't teach in school. Mental sovereignty. You are no longer ruled by what happens around you. You are ruled by what happens within you. And that changes everything. You start to move differently. Speak less, say more. Rush less, achieve more. React less, understand more. You become dangerous, not because you're aggressive, but because you're unfazed. While others are triggered, you're thinking. While others panic, you breathe. While others crumble, you stand still. That calm presence? It's rare. And it's magnetic. People will feel it, even if they don't understand it. They'll wonder how you stay so grounded, so clear, so unaffected. But you'll know. It's not because life is easier for you. It's because you've trained for it. Day by day. Choice by choice. Thought by thought. You've built an inner fortress. And it protects you not from life, but from your lower self. The part of you that wants comfort over clarity. Revenge over restraint. Validation over virtue. The Stoic doesn't kill that part. He learns to master it. Because mastery of the self is mastery of life. So what does this mean for you? It means your greatest growth won't come from chasing more. It'll come from choosing less, but better. Less distraction. More focus. Less reaction. More reflection. Less noise. More depth. It means getting clear on what actually matters to you and living it. Not talking about it. Not posting about it. But embodying it. Because the real reward of this path isn't external. It's internal. Peace of mind. Clarity of direction. Control over your thoughts and actions. And once you have that, everything changes. Relationships become richer. Work becomes meaningful. Time becomes sacred. And even challenges become opportunities to practice. That's the Stoic secret. He doesn't resist life. He works with it. Every obstacle is a lesson. Every emotion is a signal. Every setback is sharpening. So don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more perspective. Don't pray for life to get easier. Train to get stronger. Don't try to control the world. Control your mind, and the world can't shake you.